Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Newman City Council regular meeting of February 27th, 2018. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and remain standing for the invocation. Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Helen Keller was known to have said, "When one door of happiness closes, another opens. But often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one which has been opened for us." Let's pray. Most gracious Father, we thank you for the many blessings you bestow on us and on this community. Guide this council now as we work for our city and for our community. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mary. Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember McDonald?
Here.
Graham?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Candia?
Here.
Day?
Here.
Mayor Martina?
Here. And we have declaration of conflict of interest.
I have none. None.
Being none tonight. And the next would be ceremonial matters, which we have none tonight. Next, item 7, items from the public, non-agenda items. Anyone who would like to speak to the council, please go up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and we'll certainly listen to what you have to say.
Hello, I am Sophia Petrakis. I'm the new branch manager over at the Newman Public Library. I was here about a month ago, but it's been a month. I just wanted to go over a few things from last month. We had a teddy bear card craft. Sorry, I lost an eyeball. It was a bit more morbid with just one eye. But we had 45 people show up to this, which is a really big turnout for us. And then this month, for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, for St. Patrick's Day, we're going to do a family night bingo with a few prizes. Then for Easter, we're going to have an Easter bunny come, and we have these little bags for all the kids, and it even has a little cotton tail. And we'll be continuing our story times every Wednesday at 10 a.m., our Legos every other Thursday at 3:30 p.m. We're also going to be doing a program called Cover to Cover, which allows children ages 4 to 12 to participate in reading and earn hamburgers or cheeseburgers from In-N-Out. That'll go on for about a month. And the Friends of the Newman Library are going to have a book sale on the 17th of March and the 20th during our open hours. And then on the 24th of March, we have Traveling Tales, a group of people come and perform different books, and they're called Activated Story Theater, and we'll have them at 1 p.m. on the 24th. That's all I have.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And welcome to Newman. Again.
Yeah. Would anyone else like to speak to the council?
Good evening, Mayor, Councilman, and members that are, all that are present. I'm Leveda Frescas. I live at 556 Banff Drive here in Newman. I'm currently the president of the Oristimba 50s Plus Club. It's our senior club that we have here in our community. I do have some other members that came along with me. I have Sharon Andrade, Liz Owens, Doyle Owens, and Ken Owens. We are here on behalf of Ken Andrade, I'm sorry. We are here on behalf of the Oristimba 50s Club, and we thank you for hearing us. But let's see, here we go. Our membership last year was 72 members, It had an increase of 17 members in the year 2017. Our membership has grown due to our community is growing as well. We provide socialization, informative updates within the community by the way of speakers from various companies. We've got Rite Aid, Pioneer Drugs, the fire department, and various county departments as well. We want to keep the senior citizens updated with the newest resources available for them. Let's see, excuse me, I'm nervous. We also provide a form of entertainment with our bingo games. We have bus tours to various casinos, and we are a nonprofit organization, and we rely solely on our membership dues and donations. Since our membership has been growing, our need for extra adequate supply space is also very important. Our current closet space is no longer adequate to hold all of our supplies. It is very difficult. It is a very difficult job to organize and reorganize the closet to get our carts in and out, just to simply close the door. There is a cabinet within the closet. That cabinet is already full. It holds all of our paper supplies, paper plates, cups, napkins, tablecloths. Within that closet, there's also an electrical box to the left. Oh, actually, I'm going to hand out some of these pictures for you to look at. I'm going to pass those down. That electrical box, if there was ever an emergency situation where someone had to get in there, they would have to actually pull out each of those cards before they could get to that electrical box to turn it off or switch things over. So it's not too safe. Let's see. Those cards that we carry, that we have in the little closet, it's just a small, regular-sized closet. We have 3 cards in there. 2 cards consist of our bingo system. Our bingo cards are all in bins. The second cart is our audio and our actual bingo system. The microphones, the speakers, everything's on the second cart. Our third cart consists of all our kitchen supplies. It holds our coffee pots, the sugars, the creamers, the teas, the kitchen utensils, pots, pans, cleaning products. So all 3 carts are pretty full, and that's why we're desperately in need of more room. As you can see in the pictures, all carts are full, the closet is full, and it is stacked up high. So we're definitely asking for the use of the kitchen cabinet space. That would alleviate a lot of that excess on one of the carts. We certainly appreciate the city has provided us with a wonderful hall to serve our seniors. We want to continue to serve our seniors in the community. However, as our community grows, so does the club membership and the need for more adequate supply space within the kitchen. Please help us to continue serving our senior citizens of this community by providing a more adequate and safer storage facility. That's about the gist of it. There is one picture in there I forgot to make a copy of, which is a last-minute thing that we ran into. The garbage can was very dirty, very, very filthy. It had mildewed in it, and there's one picture that we need to make sure that doesn't happen again. Unsafe, unsanitary, but we definitely need more space. Cabinets, just to at least put those pots, the creamers, that would help a lot to alleviate one cart, and we can at least have room to get to that box for everybody's safety. So I appreciate anything that can be done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would anybody else like to speak to the council tonight? Being no one else, thank you very much for giving us that information. As far as I know, you people had storage issues, and I'm sure a lot of people have the storage issues. There's nothing we can do as far as anything tonight, but we'll ask city manager to take a look and see if there is any possibility. I know we have in the past, but we can certainly revisit that to see if there's some possible way to give you more space. With that, we'll move on to the consent calendar. A, waive all readings of ordinance and resolutions except by title. B, approval of warrants. C, approval of minutes of the February 13th, 2018 meeting. Report on financial assistance application and the city intention to fund the hexavalent chromium 6 water compliance project. 1, adopt resolution 218, next number, authorizing the city manager to file a financial assistance application with the State Water Board. And the second one is adopt resolution number 2018, next number, stating its intention to fund the hexavalent chromium 6 water compliance project in compliance with Treasury regulation, I think it's S1.150-2. With that,
Make a motion, we accept the consent calendar as is.
I'll second the motion.
okay, motion's been made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you very much. 9 is public hearing. There's no public hearing tonight, and we'll move on to item 10, which is regular business. Report on Newman Crow's Landing Unified School District evening at the downtown plaza.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. The Newman Crow's Landing Unified School District has requested exclusive use of the downtown plaza on August 4th of this year from 8:30 a.m. to noon to host their back-to-school informational event. Event organizers have partnered with the Family Resource Center to provide resource information to the community as well. There will be amplified music during this time frame, and of course, this will be a no alcohol sold or utilized event. The district has made the following requests. They would like exclusive use of the downtown plaza, use of the plaza restroom facilities and electrical power at the location. They have asked for a waiver of the standards of downtown events in the areas of the cleanup deposit, business licenses, insurance reduction to $1 million, also naming the city as an additional insured, traffic and crowd control device costs, the amplified music hours, and the restroom and electrical power use fees of $25. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have in regard to this event.
Any questions? Thank you, Officer Short. Is there an action?
My suggestion would be to a motion to accept the request and approve the request.
I'll make a motion to approve the event as indicated, waiving the requested standards.
I'll second
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. B is adopt resolution number 2018, next number, a resolution adopting the mid-year changes for fiscal year 2017-2018.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. The staff report before you tonight serves two purposes. One is a presentation of our finances halfway through the year, and the other is requesting for budget changes. As a brief review, exhibits A and B in that staff report show the 6-month performance of our revenues and expenditures across all funds. Exhibit C and D shows our requested changes to our budget revenues and expenditures, and Exhibit E shows our projected ending fund balances. The resolution before you tonight is simply to approve the budget changes found in Exhibit C and D. Having reviewed the performance of our revenues and expenditures, the following are notable items from the general fund mid-year report. Property tax revenues. There are 5 categories of property taxes that we track. Current secured property taxes, by far the largest revenue, is the largest of the 5. It's nearly 10 times the aggregate of the other 4 revenue sources. The city's current secured property tax revenues have been growing since 2012, even more so in the last 3 years. There are 3 reasons for this. First, the increase in the number of homes in our community. Second is the increase in value of those homes. And third is the dissolution of our former redevelopment agency, which is now managed as the successor agency. As property tax values increase, any increases in those values was supposed to go to that redevelopment agency. Now that it's being dissolved, that excess money comes back to the city as general fund property tax revenues. So as our home values continue to increase, the set-aside for that continues to increase, but as our expenditures in the RDA decrease, it leaves a bigger chunk of money that comes back to us. Sales tax revenues. At the beginning of the year, we budgeted $480,000 in sales tax revenues. We anticipate receiving closer to $500,000 this year. It's a $10,000 increase over the prior year sales tax receipts. Building permit revenues. Last year, we finished with $207,000 in building permit revenues. This year, we budgeted $190,000, but it appears we will finish near where we did last year at $207,000. Motor vehicle tax revenues. We no longer receive motor vehicle license fees, but we do receive property tax in lieu of vehicle license fees. This is called the Vehicle License Fee Adjustment Amount, or VLFAA. These swap funds are from when the state took other vehicle license fees from us, and it gave us more of their state property tax revenues. This year, we budgeted $770,000 in VLFAA monies. We expect to receive $816,000 in VLF monies, which is more than $48,000 over last year. Overall, we're conservatively projecting general fund revenues to be up 1.7% over our current budgeted amounts, and our general fund expenditures are projecting to come in 6.1% below our budgeted figures as a whole. We started this year budgeting a deficit of $387,000 to our general fund. After this mid-year review, we're looking at a deficit of a much lesser amount, around $6,000, which is a great improvement over our starting budget. By the end of the year, the city is still looking at an estimated general fund reserve of 55.4%, or $2.68 million, which is a healthy reserve. If you have any questions about the remainder of the budget changes or any other items, I'd be happy to answer your questions.
Any question?
Good job.
Great job.
Good job.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, outstanding job.
It's a great report.
Thank you.
And with that, I'll bring it back to the council for direction.
I move that we adopt Resolution 2018, next number, a resolution adopting the mid-year changes for fiscal year 2017-2018.
And I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. C, adopt resolution number 2018, next number, authorizing the city manager to sign an agreement with Hartford Economy Counseling to conduct a water rate study.
I'll take this one again.
Okay.
The city conducted its last water rate study in 2012 and adopted a series of annual rate changes through January of 2017. Our rates have not changed since that date. That study was conducted by Stantec Consulting Services and Hansford Economic Consulting. Hansford Economic Consulting recently completed our wastewater rate study. They carry years of experience and have guided us through the Prop 218 process and know our city. They have performed rate studies across California, Oregon, and Nevada. Locally, they have completed studies for Turlock, Manteca, Riverbank, Escalon, Livingston, and Waterford. Our city has a major project coming up, which is our well tank and booster pump. It's advised that we conduct a new study that takes into account the cost of this project. Staff recommends adopting this resolution authorizing the city manager to sign an agreement with Hansford Economic Consulting to conduct a water rate study for an amount not to exceed $38,220.
Any question? With that, I'll bring it back to the council for direction.
I move that we adopt Resolution 2018, next in number, authorizing the city manager to sign an agreement with Hansford Economic Consulting to conduct a rate study, water rate study.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you. You're staying right there, Lou.
I'm staying right here.
Okay. D, adopt resolution number 2018, next number, a resolution implementing a low-income water waste rate subsidy.
Okay, in the past, the city has included, as part of their rate studies, a lower-cost sewer rate for low-income families. In the most recent sewer rate study that we just completed and became effective on February 8th, a low-income rate was purposely not included. In court cases, it has been found that fees that include excess charges to fund discounts to other fee payers are considered to be taxes. Taxes cannot be imposed without a two-thirds voter approval. When conducting a rate study, the consultant looks at the city's projected costs, then looks at how much revenue has to come in to cover those costs, then splits that cost out fairly among all the different classifications so that each member of each classification is paying a similar amount. If in a study a lower rate for a low-income family was included, a higher rate would have to be charged to other properties to achieve the same needed revenue levels. So a low-income rate cannot be calculated within the study. For a city to provide a lower rate for low-income families, a subsidy from the city's discretionary or general fund would be needed to pay the difference. Currently, we have 37 residents who have applied for low-income subsidy. If the program is approved, their wastewater rate on their bill would be lowered by 20%. This amounts to lowering their utility bill by $7.46 a month. At the end of the fiscal year, the city would transfer funds from the general fund to the sewer fund in an amount equal to the amount discounted for that year. The cost of the general fund would be an estimated $3,400 a year. To determine eligibility, we would use a PG&E's CARE guidelines for determining low income. Each year, residents would have to prove their financial status by providing their tax forms and a count of the number of people residing in their home. Their income and household count would then be compared to PG&E's CARE guide for qualification. If they qualify, the lower rate would show up on the customer's next utility bill. This program would allow the city to continue providing assistance to low-income families as it has been doing in the past. Be happy to answer any questions you have on it.
Any questions from the council?
Yeah. Does that program include for senior citizens to have some type of rate adjustment?
It's not age-based, but it's based on income, which I'm sure a lot of seniors could qualify for it.
And they have to apply for that yearly, correct?
Yeah, it's annual basis
It's an
because
annual
people's
basis.
incomes can change from one year to another. And that happens every May. It's because PG&E's guide gets updated every May.
Right.
No further questions, I'll bring it back to the council for direction.
I move that we adopt resolution 2018, next number, a resolution implementing a low-income wastewater rate subsidy.
And I'll second that.
Okay, motion's been made second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0.
Great, thank you.
You don't want the last one, Lou? E, adopt resolution number 2018, next number, a resolution to initiate a proceeding to vacate that section of Tulare City and notice of hearings.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Before you is a request to vacate a portion of Tulare Street and the acceptance of 3 right-of-way dedications. The city received a street vacation request in the form of a combination lot line adjustment and right-of-way dedication application from the owner of parcels 128015013, 128016020, and 128016019. The proposed lot line adjustments will clean up past land purchases between the property owner and the Union Pacific Railroad, and those are processed ministerially. The original street vacation request was for a 40 by 50 foot portion of Tulare Street. So as you can see here, we have M Street, and there is a small portion here that is still technically right-of-way. Back in 1999, this portion was vacated, but this portion was not. Upon staff review, we believe that the abandonment of the entire 80 foot by 50 foot portion is actually it just makes better sense to kind of clean up that part of the street. Currently, that whole area is already gated off and utilized by Damari, which is the property owner on this side, and by Mr. Souza, which is the property owner on this side. A utility easement by the city to be able to access and maintain an existing storm drain line that is in there will be required and will be continued off of the existing easement that's already in there. To further clean up the parcel lines, the property owner is also proposing to dedicate the following areas to the city of Newman. So currently between M Street and Highway 33 on Merced, there's a number of pieces that used to be Union Pacific right-of-way that he has since purchased, but is now part of the city's right-of-way. So these areas would be dedicated to the city. They're already currently utilized as Merced Street, but it would just clean everything up on paper. The above listed, I already mentioned that they were part of the railroad. Approval of the proposed resolution would set a public hearing for March 13th so that the council can review a formal report, receive public comment, and make a final determination regarding the street vacation and the right-of-way dedications. Therefore, staff recommends adoption of Resolution 2018 next to number, a resolution to initiate a proceeding to vacate a section of Tulare Street and notice of hearing and consider acceptance of right-of-way dedications. The area has already been posted with intent to vacate, and notices will be put in the paper with council's concurrence.
Any questions, Stephanie? Questions? Bring it back to council for direction.
Move for adoption of resolution number 2018 next in number, a resolution to initiate a proceeding to vacate that section of Tulare Street and to proceed with the notice of hearing.
Second the motion.
Okay, a motion's been made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to item 11. Items from District 5, Stanislaus County Supervisor, Mr. Jim D. Martini.
Good evening, Mayor Martina, members of the council. I just have a few things for you tonight. Just a few days ago, StanCog began distributing money to the cities and to the county. So Newman got their first check. Well, it was kind of a phony picture check, but that was the first of many more to come. So those can be used for what it was intended for, is for local street repair. So that has started the process, and it'll be continuing like that for the next 25 years. Also, just of note, StanCog Policy Board tried to pull a fast one and divert money from leftover transit money that would have been used for road repair into the ACE train. We bitter debate over that. Anyway, that went down 11-2, with Modesto the only ones voting for it. So that money will not be diverted to ACE, and it will go to where it was supposed to go, into the road repair. It was leftover money from the buses. So anyway, that was StanCog is one of those organizations you really got to watch close, because they just come out of nowhere with ideas to divert money into something else that was never intended to be. In other news, the Crow's Landing Air Base EIR is out for public comment. There's about 2 weeks left to make comments on the project, roughly 2 weeks or so. This is a 6-week window, and about 4 weeks of it is probably about up. So it's 1,000 pages, so if you have insomnia some night, you might want to flip through that. And then if you have a comment, it needs to be in within about 2 weeks. After we go through the comments, we will have some meetings, in the area there, going over what the project is and addressing the comments that are made. The West Side Healthcare Task Force will be meeting here in Newman on March 15th. At that time, we will be discussing a senior outreach program that we will be trying to put together. Also, the Health Summit, which will be, in a couple of months, is that still got a lot to do on that. And then we have another speaker, too, that's going to be coming, talking about mental health issues. Anyway, March 15th, here in Newman, in what I call your old council chambers. And then the last thing I have is the city of Patterson is opening their homeless shelter. They're in partnership with Cambridge Academies, and that will be tomorrow at 4 o'clock, 405 South 4th Street in Patterson. And that project was put together by a grant from Evan Porges and the Prime Shine Foundation. It's a car wash company. So every city is kind of struggling with what to do with the homeless. I know our board spent a lot of time on it today, trying to come up with some housing and trying to get these people off the street. So anyway, Patterson is having an open house for their homeless shelter tomorrow, 4 o'clock.
Do you know how many beds they're going to have there?
No, it doesn't say in the flyer. It just doesn't say.
Okay.
I have the flyer here with me. The ribbon cutting ceremony is what it is.
Somebody from the back said 25.
Oh,
No.
25? Oh, so somebody knows. Oh, okay.
All the way back.
Well, the information they sent me, they didn't say how many, so it's 25 should take care of Patterson pretty well there. Downtown Modesto, it's a real serious problem in downtown. They're just all over. And they're all over the streets, panhandling, they have substance abuse issues, and it is just an increasing problem. The homeless population in Stanislaus County has went up 16% from just last year.
Wow.
And so we're trying to address the problems and come up with a plan to get them off the street, get them cleaned up, and get them back in the job market. And there has to be more than just throwing money at it. I mean, there's got to be some results, and it takes more than government just to do it. Government has been pretty much a failure at all the social programs that it's done for the last 40 years. So we're trying to get community partners in there and getting involved in nonprofits like the United Way to try and address this issue before it gets any worse. And it's got to be a combination of drug and alcohol treatment and job training and housing. And it's not an easy issue to deal with. But I'm glad to see Patterson is trying to address theirs in their own way. We're certainly trying to do it also in Stanislaus County and Modesto in particular. So that's all I have tonight, unless you have any questions for me.
I have a quick question for you. Actually, a couple. Is there a outreach effort where people walk the street and talk to the homeless people?
Yes, the county has an outreach program, and we sent them to Patterson last week, and they're going out again. It's called it's a homeless outreach program. They're county employees. They are mostly mental health employees. If there's a need in Newman, we can send out a team. It's 2 to the team, and we go all over the county.
And I was reading, I guess, in the B where I'm not sure if it's the county or is this a nonprofit organization where they've got these containers that they're turning into like apartments. And
Yeah, that's what we're planning on doing in Modesto. At United Way, Stewardship Council, Stanislaus County, City of Modesto. The biggest concentration of homeless are right in downtown Modesto.
Right.
That is, it's a bigger city, so it's just going to have more homeless. So we're trying to, what we're trying to address now is a different, let's say this properly here, a different type of homeless person. We're looking at something else besides projects for single men. This is for couples, couples with children,
right.
and then single people too, single women. There's a different need there when you have a shelter that's suitable for children too and families. It's different than what you would have for single men. So that's what we're trying to address. It's a different type of population, different demographic. And we still have the programs for the other ones too, but we have to treat this other population a little bit different. And what it's called is a low barrier shelter, and the shelter is always open. The problem, the way the other ones work, like the Salvation Army, Gospel Mission, they get everybody up 7 o'clock in the morning, feed them breakfast, and kick them out the door. And then they're out roaming the streets until the evening where they can go back and sleep. And so this project that we're working on is actually a place for them to stay, and they could have staff there where we can do some counseling, drug and alcohol rehabilitation, job training, and that sort of thing. And trying to deal with with families that are homeless that have young children, and that's a need in Modesto. Probably not so much on the west side, but it is in Modesto, so we had to come up with a program for that.
I sure appreciate the effort that you guys putting out up there, because the overflow means that they'll start looking at small cities like Newman, Patterson, and we need to prepare ourselves for it, because we do have a homeless problem here in the city of Newman, in which I was, made aware of it maybe a year ago. And,
Well, if there is a need, let me know, and I'll send out a homeless outreach team, and they will try and connect the people to services. There's especially programs that we have for any homeless veterans. They have a federal programs, and we would, connect them to that. But we also have, I think, a fairly good program for drug and alcohol treatment, and we do have, different part of our organization for job training, temporary housing, and medical care, and that sort of thing. So it's an issue that we just all have to deal with, and we have to realize that government alone cannot just solve this problem. It's got to be the whole community. It's got to be nonprofits. It's got to be faith-based organizations and the community. It can't just be government, otherwise it's doomed to fail. And it's I always say that the safety net is what we provide, but when government just does it without the rest of the community or nonprofits, the safety net can turn into a hammock pretty easy. And they get comfortable living out in the street and getting free stuff. But, our objective is to reverse the cycle and get them back into, productive lifestyle. And that's not easy, but it is, that's the effort that we're working towards. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
On behalf of the city, we want to thank you for your strong position in preventing that ACE train from getting the money that was was proposed to be diverted. You're a strong member of that board, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I got a low opinion of StanCog, so I go to those meetings there, not because I enjoy it, but I'm looking for little fast ones that they're trying to slip through. And that's not the first time something like that's come up, but I appreciate your comments there, and I will continue to go to the meetings and be sure that the money that's allocated for roads actually goes to the roads. Okay,
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
And with that, we'll move on to item 12, items from the city manager and staff.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. So when we did the rehab for the Louis J. Newman building, because we had to expand out our restrooms, there was a little bit of loss of storage space. Storage space is at a premium there. I can tell you the 50 Plus Club actually has the most amount of storage out of all the groups that are there, and some of the other groups have actually sacrificed some of their space for them. I know we looked at it in the past. I'll have my staff go out there and look at it again and see if we can evaluate it. Essentially what you're talking about is a zero-sum game. They get more, somebody else gets less. Again, we'll get out there with some fresh eyes, and I'll get my staff out there. Maybe Catherine can come with me or something, and we'll take a look. And maybe there's some way to do some interior improvements or something that would make storage more efficient. But with the number of tables and chairs we have, it takes up one complete closet. I mean, I don't know if you guys have been out there or rented the space there. You can't get any more tables and chairs in that storage area. It's just packed. So. And then we have our cleaning crews that need to keep their supplies there as well. And we have other groups that utilize it. But we'll go back out there again with fresh eyes and see if we can evaluate it and see if there's anything that we can do. And then we'll report back to you at your next meeting.
Thank you.
The planning staff and I, Ms. Ocasio and I, are continuing to work on our LAFCO application. We had a very productive phone call today with LAFCO about that application. So we're anticipating probably at the end of this month, your second meeting in March, to have that application to you for your final approval. Good. And then submit that to LAFCO. And I think we anticipated that if we get it to them by the end of March as well, probably looking at getting on the LAFCO agenda around July. Could be as early as June, depending on their schedule, but July seems like the time frame that we're probably looking at there. Along with that LAFCO application, when you were here, there were a lot of property owners out there that had some questions, some issues, and some concerns. We are preparing a policy implementation program for you guys to look at as well, and so that would talk about connecting to sewer. If you have a failed well, and when do you have to connect to water? When do you have to connect to sewer? What if you're keeping animals out there? Because those were some of the three biggest issues that were out there were those, so we'll address those with you as well. We're also continuing to work with CCID because that was another issue out there. We've ran some proposals by CCID. They've been receptive to working with us and allowing us to work with the property owners. But we have a follow-up call at the end of this week with CCID. So if they give us a go-ahead, then we'll work with legal counsel in terms of getting some kind of legal document agreement that we can work out with some property owners out there for water delivery in terms of agricultural needs. And just lastly, at your next meeting, our legal counsel, staff from our legal counsel's office will come and give you a legislative update on some of the things that are going on in Sacramento that recently passed or were implemented earlier this year, or things that are working their way through the halls right now. And I'll just leave it at that.
Exciting stuff.
So that's all that I had, and I can answer any questions that you may have.
I have a quick question for you. What's the possibility in reference to the space that I guess the seniors are looking for, that we look in terms of outside container to maybe move some of the storage stuff that we have inside the center, like the tables and stuff? We can do an outside container to take that and put it out in that container, and even other things that might, if we have cleaning equipment or either buffers or vacuums and things of that nature, we can move it to the outside in a container.
When I hear the word container, I think cargo container, and it's probably not a look that we're looking for out there. But then I would probably say, okay, if we're going to do something like that, maybe you build a shed or something like that, and then you have issues with vandalism and break-ins and some of the other things, because it's not as secure as, we have cameras in the main buildings and stuff. So we won't rule it out. We'll keep it out on the table, but
Because
the question just becomes, from staff's perspective, is, are we all things to everybody there? Do we allow every group there to store absolutely every single thing that they need for every meeting? And if so, we're never going to have enough space, or do we try to get them to say, look, this is what they need on a regular basis, this is what they have, and some of it they're just going to have to bring it out. I don't know what the mix is, to be honest with you. I haven't probably sat down with 50 plus. I haven't sat down with them yet to say absolutely what do they use on a regular basis, what do they not use on a regular basis. And that's probably some of the conversation that needs to take place between the city and all the clubs, not just 50 plus, because some of the other clubs are probably going to be saying, well, what about us?
Yeah.
So, like I said, let us just try to work as best we can. Like I said, it's a zero-sum game out there, so at some point, if there's a winner, there's probably going to be a loser. So.
I just think, Michael, that it should be equitable to all the clubs. All the clubs should be considered, the amount of space they have should be based on their membership or whatever else. Whatever.
Yeah, and the 50 plus has a large space out there. Plus, you got to remember, we also, it still is a functioning rental. So you need to have that space available too, for people that are, maybe they rent it from Friday to Sunday, and that's what a rental is. You can rent it from Friday afternoon. So, some of them don't necessarily want it all on the counter. So, it's a delicate balance of trying to find out how to make it work for everybody, and we'll do the best we can.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, Deb?
I have no information to share tonight.
No, exactly.
No comment tonight.
No new projects.
Well, the master plan is our focus, obviously. And we have planning commission again in March since the February meeting was canceled due to a quorum, or lack of a quorum. But, yeah.
Thank you.
Wasn't there a homeless survey done in the last month or so?
There was. I and CSO Mendoza went out, as well as the Family Resource Center, and Stanislaus County sent out some representatives. I do not have the final number yet, since everything was submitted separately, so I don't know what the tally is. I know from observation, CSO Mendoza and I believe it was about 3 or 4 that we collected. Last year, I believe it was 17. So I don't have the final number yet. So I imagine it's probably near the same amount. I didn't notice as many people out this time. It could have been just the weather. It was pretty cold. But as soon as I get that number, I'll report back to the council.
Great. Okay. Thank you.
Lou?
I didn't have anything extra tonight. If you have any questions on anything, I'll gladly answer them.
Thank you for your great report. Catherine, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. I just have a couple items to report. Measure L is going out to bid in the next few days. That's a very good road project. With as it goes through the bidding process, we expect construction to start right around the time school ends. And so that'll be a really good project, and so hopefully everyone will have patience during that construction process, and I'll remind everybody as we get closer. The second thing is well 6. We're still trying to identify the exact problems and have done some extensive cleaning of the well, but we expect within the next week we should have that well put back together in time for consumption to go up. But I do want to remind everyone that we are in a stage 2 conservation level, which means you can water 3 days a week. And please go on the website and look and see what days you are allowed to water if you can't recall. Or call Public Works and we'll be glad to help you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any question? No question? Great. Casey?
I'd like to note that Keith is missing and Doc is paid.
He's at the ambulance board meeting
You know, I'd like to
tonight.
second that. Is that a motion? I'd like to second it. Put that in the record, too.
Got it. I have nothing tonight.
I have that.
Yeah.
The COG, we got our check for what, 212,000? Change?
It's probably pretty close.
Something like that? Just give you an idea, Modesto got a little over 4 million.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, but that's what it's
That's our
there
big
for.
brother.
Yeah, I know. But we're getting, the money's coming, so it's cool.
We don't want two problems
Hell.
Do you have anything tonight?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
And I really don't have anything, but I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. I know sometimes it's difficult to get up there and say what you want to say, but it's important that you do it. It's important that you do it, so remember that. You may not feel we always give you what you want, but we certainly will listen to what you have to say, and that's what we promise to always do for you. So with that, I'd like to ask for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay? All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Lou, do you want your